What's up? This is RenéG, catching the tail end of this full moon here, waking up early in the morning. If I'm going to catch anybody in the morning, but I will upload this. Um, going to drop some epiphanies. Catching a breath, I'm a little excited. I'm like, I got to do this now or I'm not going to do this. So I said I'm going to do epiphanies on full moons and new moons. So I had the chance before I got to run. So last night I wanted to get on, but just something about full moons gets me into introspect, where it makes me go really deep within and goes into things in the back of my mind, like from my past. So I don't know what it is about moons, but it has a lot to do with reflection. So I'm going to dive into this, waking up into this dream. And when I talk about energy, we're dealing with mind and body. So I look at centering as dealing with a 13. And I'm going to get into that. I've been growing my hair out, so I'm going to get into this Samson epiphany I had this morning. I'm also going to talk about that AM to the middle of the alphabet. And so with the doors, with the 13, you could also see, hang on, I'm going to get into this, the shadow and the light with the faces. I was looking at an ambulance. I see how it's AM and bull. And ants, which we could look at that as ATN as well, or AXN as an action, so attention and action. So we're dealing with that bull, we're dealing with that pole. When you look at the AM, let me get more into these triangles. And I had to talk about alkalinity. Like, you can't be too alkaline. And this cat Micah was like, I look at that as like positivity. Like, we have to keep being positive because there's a natural negativity, like opposition. So we're like this generating force, right? And so I look at sleep too as a way of centering. So you got to sleep on it. But let me get into this. When you look at center, it's 6 letters. When you look at Samson, it's 6 letters. So we're dealing with focus. I'm getting into frequencies here. And we see frequencies connecting and moving like a kaleidoscope. And when you say kaleidoscope, it's like colliding your scope of vision. You see things constantly changing in a kaleidoscope between patterns of lines and circles. So getting into the patterns, when you look at that G that's used at the center of the compass, we know G is the 7th letter. Check this out. 6 dealing with 1, 9, and 24, which is 6. 1 and 9 is 10, which is 1 and 6 equals 7, right? 6 equals 7. So 6 equals 7. There's different ways of looking at this. So here we see that circle with that line, and we see that in the G, which is the 7th letter. Now 6 and 7 equals 13. Okay, anybody yet, but someone's going to catch this. And that 13th letter is the M. We're dealing with the rhythm at the center, like a heartbeat. Stay on my SAMSON here too. This is all connecting. So this also gets into reaping and sowing, and like the grim reaper. This merge, just like mind and body. And we have reappear. And when you say reap, that's also like rep, right? So you reap what you sow, you represent. You represent. So they say, so what? So what? So what? So in life we have this movement, right? And in the military they use cadences to keep going, right? The left foot hits the ground, I want to hear that clapping sound. So, okay, I just had a coffee, which is kind of against my normal routine, because I get wicked hyper. I was looking at Dunkin' Donuts and how they have no vowel here, like rhythm. So nothing moves without bass, right? There used to be a car company called Saab, that used the rising phoenix as the label. All right, so bass is percussion. So look at percussion, that's also rep, right? Per, rep, cuss. So we're doing moving away from ion. So we're doing electricity, you know, we're electrical beings. And this also has to do with the heartbeat, which is like a drum. As they say, it was the first instrument. So I'm tying this into the SAMSON. So, but I want to stay on that G because this hit me. So when we look at these people like Tesla or Jesus or these figures, because it's all now, but it's this constant movement of now. You know that 6 and 7 equals 13. The 6th letter is F. Which moves to the right. I'm going to get into that. 7th letter is G. So when we look at, that's an arrow to another way. When we look at effigy, look at the definition of an effigy. This shit gets deep. Because we're energy. this ties into Tesla. I was driving behind an ambulance. I noticed how, like, when you flip a coin for a game, it's heads or tails. It's not head or tail, it's heads or tails. So in heads we also see shed, like shedding light. And in tails we also see Tesla. Who broke down the 369. So when you look at the ambulance, you see those snakes like this. So we see snakes. So another way of looking at snake is Cain. Cain, and we're dealing with Abel, which is a pole. A is also 1. Damn. Well, I'm not getting too all over the place. Because well, now this ties into Samson, because with frequencies, so the alphabet is 26 letters, which equals 8. And this also gets into breaking the 8, because we know that L is also like a 1. When you look at a pool cue ball, and get into these symbols of breaking the 8. What was I at? So with Samson, get into that anthem. Okay, with Samson, Samson is 6 letters, and Delilah, we see these 2 columns as well, and we see idea. So this also has to do with mind and body, because it's physical strength that pushes down the pillars. And when I see pillars, also makes me think of caterpillars, because caterpillars turn into butterflies through metamorphosis, which also makes me think of Moses, Morpheus. We're dealing with patterns. So the epiphanies that hit me with Samson, so breaking the 8 is kind of like how the alphabet is broken into 26 letters. Okay, so when we look at that L as a symbol, can also be looked at as an I. We're dealing with rhythm, with a push and pull. So push and pull together is pulse. So the O is 15, which is a 6. Okay, this is where I'm getting into. This shit gets deep. So we deal with breaking the 8. The 2 13s equal force. So we're dealing with force. And Jesus rose on the cross between the 2 thieves, which is also the 2 3s, 2 trees. The H also represents the 8. We're dealing with heaven and hell, which is also a ladder. which we write with letters. And anything intent, sentence is intent, and sentence. Okay, so what I'm getting into is, we also know Odin, which can be looked at as Ode. Damn, I wonder if that's probably where we get obey. We get obey the laws. That's where they come from. Damn, because the walls right there. So Odin, we're looking at Ode. It's today. You see that T, which is also, we're dealing with the Yoda. We're dealing with the Yoda because we're dealing with a force. The two fours. It's interesting that T is also 2 as well as 3. T begins with a T. Damn. So, check it. I was breaking down that Adidas sign. Don't have my hat on me. Let's see, what did I see here? When I was using it in the last video, that hat is next door. I'm not going to stop this flow. But when you look at the Adidas sign, right? It's like this, right? And then they have, there's like an M at the bottom, which is the middle, and it's right above the ID, which I'll show this one again. So ID is 9-4. 9-4 is 13. Cool, someone's checking in. Thanks for finding my channel. So this is organic reach too, because I'm not out promoting my stuff. Like Bruce Lee has a talk about expression, to express yourself as you truly are, and it's what epiphanies are. So a lot of stuff that I learn on YouTube, I like to I take mad notes and tuck it in. I tuck and roll. I'm not out parroting information I learn unless it's applicable, or do I want to go and just start talking about myself. This is more breaking shit down, like coffee catching up. Bro Sanchez show, we're talking about the G, and I saw the 7 and the 6, so I'm like, bro, that's a 7, and we're getting into this, right? So I'm wondering if people have epiphanies, drop them on my channel, man. I love breaking shit down. So we're dealing with the Tesla. So we got the 13s at the center. We're also dealing with the 33 in between the two pillars. So we're dealing with force. So the force together, right? This is Samson in between the two pillars. So Samson's the 33. You can see the 6 letters. 3 and 3 is 6. Now I'm going to get into the wings of the phoenix. I'm dealing with focus as well. I was thinking about pH and how 6 is below the 7. And it's like you can add 7 this way, or you can add 7 this way, dealing with that left and the right. Which is crazy. Because that makes me also think about how east and west are both 4 letters as well. So we're dealing with that force there with the east and the west. So we know that this was the thunder moon. It's probably still full moon in Alaska. Still kind of feeling the vibes, like goosebumps slightly. I'm all cut up from working. So anyway, this is going to get me into this. Kind of use my environment here. A lot of stuff on me. I'm dealing with the reflection. Wings at the speed of sound. When you look at wings, it also makes me think of wind. This is a video I have from when I was like 12, studying ninjutsu, Way of the Wind, Professor Ronald Duncan. When you look at wings that fly with the wind, we're also kind of dealing with mind. Okay, but when you look at wings, I was kind of getting into the origami, which I'm going to put down where I can pause it and go with more images. But that has to do with Christ representing crease, the priest and pressing. We're dealing with pressure. I want to make more sense of this. But when you look at the W, you can see the wings. The W literally looks like a bird. We always see the bird at the center. So now when we deal with vibration, okay, wings, we also see swing. So we see swing, right? So it's like seesaw, like a seesaw, dealing with present, what we're dealing with now, and saw dealing with was, past. I don't know if you can read that from there, man. Shit, I can't bring that closer. Breaking codes like combo locks. Heads and tails. Ankles bear the weight of the body. This has to do with the Ankh as well. So the Ankh is a knot, right, from a place called Tai. Yet, so this has to do with the seesaw. What hasn't happened yet, and we deal with time. We're dealing with tying the M, which is also rhythm, which is also movement. If we look at ment, we're dealing with the rhythm, and ent, which is 10, which we could look at attention. We could look at net, because you catch attention, which I'm catching someone's attention, big ups. And then we're also dealing with action. Just like I showed that Dunkin' Donuts without the vowels. So then, another thing I want to talk about, getting into the G, because we're all born in sin, which is also sing. So when we look at Ankh, Ang, the Buddhists, like when the Buddhists are together, all in together with their energy. They call that a sangha. They protect the sangha. They don't eat animals or anything. They protect their energy, their spirit body, called sangha. So it's interesting that a gong makes a ding. That's what they always do in between meditation to bring the center. Then we have sink. We sink into skin. I had some other epiphanies too because I caught myself bleeding. I'll get into that later. It's getting into sounds because is a wall. When something skips, it's going against a wall. Right, our skin is like our wall. So when we look at sing, we also look at sink. We're dealing with energy. It's interesting that water, we use a sink for water, which also reminds me of Watson from Sherlock. And sure, I see sure as his and her, like his and her locked, sure, lock. And then you see Watts on is also like what's on. And we're also dealing with a switch. Which craft. We know craft is a ship. And we know ship. Okay, this also gets into fish. Fish, I'm glad I remember this one because this ties into my Dunkin' Donuts. Fish equals 6. So we're doing 6, 9, 19, which is 1, right? And 8. 7 and 8 is 15, which is 6. Now we take out the vowel F, S, H. Without that vowel, doing that movement. 6, 1, 8, 6 and 9 is 15, which is 6. So FSH is also 6. So what do we see in FSH? Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So we deal with that Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. We're dealing with that 3, 6, 9. Check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. Okay, so when Moses went up on the mountain, he got the 10 commandments on the tablets. Where we see Tesla. Oh, I killed this one on my notes. Gotta find that. But we see also I gotta find my shit so I can tie this in. Tesla. Forget what I was gonna say, hang on. I will get back to this one. Second one. Break some of this down. So I had this epiphany with fish in the 6. So when we look at the sphinx, two, three, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 letters. We see 6 in the Sphinx, and we also see spin. And this is also going to get into, we also see fin. Fin like a fish fin, or we finish. We start in the dark. In the dark, we get a spark. So spark, we can also flip the letters, the D around, and we can see cards, right? And dark, it also makes me think of Dracula. Cards come out of the box, come out of the dark, like a spark. So dealing with light, and this has to do with etymology, because in etymology, we see 8. 8. The mol is how light is measured per surface area. OG, etymology, anyway. So this has to do with the frequencies of the alphabet. And when you look at, I also want to get into Adam and Eve. Okay, so with the ID, when you look at that Adidas sign too, we see the W and the M at the bottom, which is also 4 and 5. But like this. So we call a suit, back to the skin, we call a suit hearts. Okay, we call a suit of cards hearts. And Adam and Eve were clothed. We could also put hearts, could also be like shirt or shirt. You know, they put on aprons. Some other notes I had. I'm dropping what I got now to keep my flow going, and then I'll come back soon. But you know, we say Uncle Sam. This also has to do with light and weight, because we're also dealing with mass. Mass. Christmas is creasing. Increasing mass. We give gifts which are physical. I had another epiphany with Adam and Eve having to do with samadhi. I'm going to get into that one. So when we deal with hearts, we're also dealing with hertz. Doing that electricity. And I started off kind of breaking the 8, with the triangle, which is also the A. It's the triangle. Not prepared for this. This is kind of random notes. Oh shit! This has to do with dimensions. The triangles. The M and the W. Let me get into that one. I want to keep this going with the SAMSON in the pillars with the 13s. That's too off topic, but we get into, when you look at AM and PM, like night and day. We're also dealing with amps, amp. So we know that bass moves through an amp, an amplifier. So we're dealing with North Pole. You know that North Pole. Oh shit. We see Thor. So we're dealing with the Thunder Moon. So I wanted to tie this into the swing and the seesaw with the vibration. When we flip, like we crease the page of the M and the N, get the W. We put two N's together, it's like lightning bolts. Anyway, so we see North as well as Thorn. Dealing with center. I don't remember what I was saying. Damn. And you know, I keep looking for is this notepad right here. You know, when I watch stuff on YouTube, I'm always learning about stuff like ancient tribes and symbols. And I see stuff around me. Oh, yeah. Okay, so when we look at the K, we know that's the pause sign like this. Like when the N is the Z. That's another note that I don't have on me. I just want to remember that one. But when we look at this is Epiphany I had. There used to be a store called Kmart. I was thinking about Toys R Us, and I was like, Kmart. And when you knock that T to the side, it's an X. What's interesting about that, I don't know if they still have Kmart, but when you rearrange that, you take that K, when you look at the K like a reflection, talking about the cave symbols. So if we reflect the K both ways, we also see an I and we see an X. So we can flip that, we see matrix. I and the X. All right, I want to put down some more of this stuff connecting when I can show some images. Check it. I was talking about the rainbow in my last stream. So when you look at the rainbow, we know that rainbow is 7 letters. When we look at the Roman numeral of 4, we can also see the letter N as well. into that force. Then we have Roman numeral. Excuse me. So we look at good and evil. There were two trees, which are the 2 3s. So we have the tree of life and knowledge of good and evil. Dealing with the hidden K in knowledge. Oh, and Thor made me think of authority. So we get into authority in the Wizard of Oz. It's all about authority, dealing with Dorothy and the door T. I mean, you could look at it that way. I see that. There's 7 visible colors. I know I touched on this one. I'm going to keep revisiting a lot of this because when we're dealing with that V and the UV is non-visible in the center, we see seen. Remember, the UV is can't see that, so we see seen. And we're also dealing with squiggly in there. So this also gets me into seal. And I find that other notes on that one. So thunder and lightning too, with Thor and authority. This also gets me into volition. So good and evil. Now we deal with love. We know we can write evil, EVOL. We could also do love and volume. E we know is energy. We're also dealing with volition. Volition is dealing with willpower. So willpower is like manifesting all your desires. And in good we have go and do. Go, do. Now here we have volition, dealing with willpower. So, and premonitions I want to talk about too. Just pre now. Noise. When things speak to you. So we see we're dealing with seasons. We deal with seasons. Seasons change. So we seize on. Like an on and off switch. So in seize we could seize to get and we're dealing with 4 seasons. Seasonings add flavor. Okay, this is deep. So when we get into life, I know I'm skipping over some rainbow stuff. I'm going to go back into that. So we get into life. So let's live. We also see leaf because we're dealing with the tree. And we also see feel. It's interesting when they say field, like your field of vision or your energy field, you're feeling half, like a D is a 4, where you're feeling. I'm thinking lead with the F, but my thoughts are moving too quick. also dealing with lead, which is the heaviest metal. Which also has to do with laid, like laid down like a domino. So when we look at Ankh, too, when we say Ankh, it's can. You know, we leave out the H. You can look at that as can. And a can is a case. In case. So we know that uppercase, lowercase. We're dealing with frequencies. For heaven's sake. Okay, I'm playing with the frequencies a little bit. Forsaken, forsaken. Jesus was forsaken, forsake. N, which is for casing the N. I don't know, I'm thinking about this. Because N, I'm dealing with ends and den. And den, lion's den. We write with a pen which with ink, which represents blood, which we think what we write down, and we say O pen. So we say O pen. O pen could also be looked at as O pin. And if you look at a pin is like a 1. We could also see the 10. And we're dealing with symbols here. So this is also dealing with center, like a target or a bullseye, which is red. And red, we're dealing with that bottom chakra, which is our passion. Now our passion is passing the ion, passing the I on energy, or passing the noise, but passing the chakra. So the red chakra is the one that passes through all other chakras, not the other way around. So we're dealing with that passion. And then what guides the passion is orange. So from red to orange, which we're dealing with arrange. That sounds like arrange or focus. 0 is focus. Range of focus. Range of focus. So that's guiding your passion. So we could look at that as like muzzle control, guiding your passion. So your second chakra is like right here. Damn, man. And we say sesame says energy, which for me is like mind to body. Focus. So it's interesting. In life, we also see file. Makes me think of facets. Facing. X is also a T of facet, which is a part of see if I can remember my rainbow notes, because this was sick. So when we look at rainbow, you can see a ray, like a ray of light. We know that bow ties are symbolic. Hang on. horse is usually representing a force. See people riding on a horse. And we know that this is kind of like a horseshoe. You know, shoes are for walking or traveling. Day. B flipped over is day, and you see worn. I don't know. Okay. I skipped a beat on the rainbow. We know the top color is violet. Dealing with that V at the top. And we know red is at the bottom. So I think a lot of what gives us our passions is things we've been through. Things we've been through, because I also see dealing with past as red. Like I read that. Read is present. So this has to do with the singing the song, because we know it was Samson dealing with the Holyghost. We also see two S's together. We add that G. We see song. And then Drop the Pillars by the 9-va. And I see symbology dealing with 9/11 too. But 9 is dealing with that 4 and the 5. And we're also dealing with that V. When we look at the V, it's interesting too. That's going like one direction or the other direction, which is also 22 or 4. Which is also the 5th Roman numeral, dealing with that 4 and the 5. And when we look at 5, it's 4 letters. Okay, dealing with the flickering. So I also want to talk about photosynthesis versus and photovoltaic. Dealing with that V again. Photovoltaic is what takes like solar panels, like uses sun and turns it to energy. So I'm getting into foods that are photovoltaic. Photosynthesis has to do with calories. So I'm going to get more into iron. And I've been fascinated. So you see a shirt I'm rocking. Been vegan for about 3 years. And I was listening to talks from Dr. Sebi, Eat Right for Your Blood. I was learning all this stuff about health, right? Because I went from being a vegetarian to eating animals. Like when I was 18, I was a vegetarian most of my life. It's always felt wrong eating animals, but like, okay, then I'm reading we need heme, iron, and protein and all this stuff. And then I started learning talks on iron, the most bioavailable iron. Shit, this is gonna be another talk. Coffee's coming to me. But that's gonna bring me into magnetism and whole nother talk. But it relates to this shirt I'm wearing. Anyway, and that's also dealing with energy as well. So I gotta get to work. I know I dropped some epiphanies that I meant to tie into the last one. I had some new ones. And then on my next one, I'm going to bring a little more together here. Oh, shit. I'm just reading your messages. Yeah. Dealing with right. Alright, so you got me going here. I gotta get to work, man. We're dealing with that W again with the right. And when we also look at right, not only dealing with that four letters again, we're also dealing with tire. Now when we say tired, we're dealing with past tense. That's why you say I'm tired. Just that brings me into the samadhi talk, which is focusing. Because when you say I'm tired, it's like you're setting yourself back without even realizing it. And that becomes a habit. Oh, I'm so fucking tired. We talk to ourselves like that. We're dealing with energy. When we look at a tire, tires for moving. And we're dealing with that focus. Oxygen too, dealing with breathing. O2. Which is actually, holy fuck, that's 8. That's 8 as well. O2, because we're dealing with 6-8. Fuck. So, talking about breaking the 8, I'm going to do this with the letters. So when we say 8, we're dealing with that axe energy, but we're also dealing with T. You know, T time, T is a T. T. And we're also dealing with eat and ate. So we're dealing with present and past. We're dealing with eat and ate. You know what's deep too? Oannes. They changed the name of Oannes to ONS. Four directions, yeah, that's what's up. You see rib and direction as well. Also dealing with vibrate. Cool, I like your messages. I think the Holyghost could be feminine. Yeah, Samsung, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna get more into the Thor. We know that's a movie coming out, Thor. Author, a T. Damn, I'm getting like goosebumps right now. I'm thinking, then Willie Nelson had his song "Write Your Own Song." Only song. I'm not like a country guy. I listen to everything. I have random songs that pop up in my head, like Bob Marley this morning. Seems I was never on time because I'm running late. So we talk about late. It's getting me to breaking the 8. So we know with 8, we're doing this with 8. How many times can we break the 8? That's interesting when that in front says bait. That's reaching, definitely reaching. So G is 7, which is gate. So this has to deal with the 13s as well. And then feminine. I gotta think about that one. Yeah. 8 letters in feminine. Yeah, yeah, I do think it represents the Holy Ghost. I do. 8 is the H. Let me see something. That's a tough one though. Hang on. Masculine is 9. There's like a flickering between that with the 8 and the 9. Line. 9. Get into that one. I think the Holy Ghost is our center. I'll get back on that one. So what happens is I'm trying to remember stuff that I'm putting down and hit me with something new. But dealing with the directions. So CC, like my motorcycle 650 cc, dealing with constant current, which is also 30, dealing with that 33. Which is actually 4 C's. I don't know. It's crazy. One things I try to is constantly centering, and to make sense of things is centering too. Where your grip is, it's like the tires that are spinning in mud. You don't put weight on those tires. You lift up and put weight on the ones that are gripping. So I feel that's what brings us clarity and connects the dots. And it's interesting. Premonitions, like when you're on one thing and then something else correlates to exactly like your vibe. Like when I was talking about the Adidas and the 13, I just noticed I have like ID on this plant. Anyway, so breaking the 8. This coffee makes me spin. I'm a tire spinning. Okay, so A is the other one, right? Atlanta is in Georgia. But so these are different ways we can break the 8. We got gate, dealing with that 1 and 7. 8 and 0 is 8. I think it's interesting how they all spell words. Hate and 8 would be dealing with straight the 8 and 8. You're also going to see heat, drawing the T as thought. Dealing with our quest and questioning what's Alright, so we go with the 6, we got fate. 2, we got bait. You can bait your fate when you're working for somebody else, or you're putting your energy into an afterlife or something. So it's like baiting your fate. That can be like another 8 or 5, right? Oh, no, or wait, it's 23. A couple letters. So we're doing a wait. Give them time and S and Kate. You should also deal with this is tape. Tape. And then we're dealing with the 2 4s in the middle. We're dealing with date. We're dealing with time. And we're dealing with that masculine, feminine. We're dealing with meeting in the middle with the 2 4s. D is the 4th letter. And then we got the path is narrow. What does it say? The path is narrow through the gate. Triangle 8. L's, UL, and triangulate as well. Super. I gotta put back to this one. So this is a way of breaking the 8 with all the letters that make up 8. Yeah, I got some more notes on this with more meanings behind them. These were kind of epiphanies I had. Let's see what we got. Figure some stuff out, but it gives me a reason to come back. We know that we're doing the heart, we're doing arrows, which is arrows, dealing with that direction, right? So X, Y on, right? So arrows, look at the rainbow. Not only do we see the bow, bow. Let's see wonder. Wonder bar. Back to that one. So the authority made me think about the volition, dealing with the good and evil, and I'm going to think more about that Holy Ghost when I get back. Thanks for checking in, and feel free to keep chiming in, man. It keeps me going. So I'll get more into the target, and I'll go on the next one, dealing with the jackal. And on to the next. Oh, thunder and lightning. With that sea and the saw. You know, that thunder comes after the lightning. Interesting too, with the arrow, look at the Oreo. When you look at the Oreo symbol on Oreos or okay, so talking about end, dealing with the ends, tying, dealing with the tines. Dealing with might, also dealing with might, which is force, and mights are also little. So we're dealing with time, you know, tie and untie is also 6 and 7. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I get lost in some of my own notes. I gotta think about what I was writing. Dealing with time. Chronos. See. Doing chronological order. It's interesting when you interchange the N with the T. That's reaching, but I see cross. Also dealing with corners. I know there's some stuff I wanted to leave. I'm trying to think what I was going to say. Well, I'll leave it on this one because also dealing with centering or with knots or whatever. Also say thanks, like thanks, like to give thanks. So that's part of like charging our energy field, because just like I'm so tired without even thinking of sending yourself in the past, it's like realizing things into manifestation. Coffee's kind of scrambling my words right now, but this also has to do with the Grim Reaper merging and reappearing. Kala is the movement of time. Which, you know, also dealing with that paw symbol and Allah, which is also 111. And then we can also see like the monster energy symbol too, things like that, with the M with the 3 1s, different ways of looking at that. But I want to touch more on that Adidas symbol too on my next one. When I find my other notebook, and like this morning I like to do this when I get in my flow because things kind of come to me. I know I'm kind of babbling now. I'm just trying to fill this in while I skip this out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Rainbow, bow and arrow. Yeah, man. Okay. I love it when people chime in. So when we talk about left, the Garden of Eden, felt. We know felt is on a pool table, dealing with breaking the 8. Pool tables have green felt. Fuck, 6 corners, right? Damn, that makes me think of dice. Like that's the highest, or dominoes, I mean. So we do a left. We're talking the fallen ones, the fallen angels. We're also dealing with T-Fel. I have to think about that. Pick it up, right? We got to pick it up. Pick it up. Maybe that has to do with moving right, dealing with that tire. Like, pick it up. I don't know. Making sense of this. But just like money in this Omni, the more sense we can collect. Every sense adds up. We got to use our sense. Which I want to get more into that one too. So sixth sense. This. Some more stuff I want to drop about left, and that also has to go with the jackal. Jackal. You know how I showed the Dunkin' Donuts without the vowels. So the jackal faces to the left, which also represents the west, which takes to the afterlife. So I'll touch on that when I get my images. I don't want to waste ammunition. Oh, so we deal with sense. You could also see send. We're also dealing with dense. Or we could look at this as dens, lions' dens. When we look at align, to align forces. There's a quiet G. And we also see nail. Jesus was nailed to the cross. Fuck. Whoever's chiming into my channel, Justice Dreaming, thank you, because you kept me going here. So is an electrical sound. When you're getting zapped, it's when you touch something. That's the touching point. They say the index, your pointing finger, like ET, so take a 10, quiet N, represents, that's the edge, but also represents Jupiter, which is supposedly the largest. I'm going by my own gut here. So Jesus was nailed to the cross. And we see a line. We see nail, and we see that G. Makes me think of 9 Inch Nails, but check it. So time is emitted. I gotta bounce. Boom. Because it's morning. when we say morning. So we see Rome and more, like it all comes back to Rome. The greater than and less sign is the L tipped over. Dealing with focus. Like focus over less than. Island of Dr. Moore. Oh. Dealing with focus. We're also dealing with that right, left to right. Just dealing with that authority. It's interesting that the N is on the right side of the M, dealing with lightning. Fuck. So morning is Ning. We're dealing with an engine. And Justice Dreamin', I love your name. Makes me think of I Dream of Jeannie. I'm gonna get more into the lamp. Let's do morning dew, because we got things to do in the morning. Playing with frequencies. So morning dew. Also dealing with water. Well, it gets me on my purpose. So this is what I like to do. So I'm dropping this while I can. So when we think about purpose, I'm really trying to think of something I was thinking of earlier, but we know cat is also act. Another way of writing action. You could think of tic-tac-toe, like to tack, to tackle, to tackle, tackle. Tack to task. Tasks has that too with S. Tackle is dealing with catching fish too. And attention. So we know action. So we're going for Justice Dreaming, thinking of your name. I gotta go, man. I'm still waking up. I just woke up like this. I'm like, let's do this. So we look at, for me, dealing with the F. This makes me think of form, which form is also morph. So I like to tie things in. So we're talking about metamorphosis, we're dealing with form, and we're also dealing with like teaming forces, metamorphosis, but also dealing with that metamorphosis. It's from a caterpillar, dealing with act, dealing with pillars. Yeah. Aquarius. Into that. We're dealing with waves. Wave high, wave goodbye. Which also makes me think of you. Maverick. Okay, so when we look at surf, see surf, F, 6. Serpent 6. Could that be like 7-6? I don't know. We definitely see first. Oh, look at T we see first. Yeah, that T. And the surf. You gotta catch that wave. You gotta be the first to catch the wave. Because you gotta catch the wave at the apex. I love this. I love this. I think about surfing a lot. I think about windsurfing, which I want to do both. Live in Connecticut. Anyway, so form and function. So, I know I've said this before, like the best dance music, in my opinion, you know, we got funk. When we look at fun, when we look at things happening in 369, we talk about waves, it's 3, 6, 9. We look at sleeping, just us dreaming, Z, 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 3 Z's. Let's check it. This also ties into the square and circle. Perception and intention. Forgot what I was just saying. I had it caught. My mind already. Just look at it. Okay, yeah, 0 is 4 letters. You also see like oars of the ship that steer the ship. The 0 is also focus. 0 also equals 1, like you were saying, adding all the numbers up. Or it actually equals 10. 0 actually equals 10, which equals 1. But what I'm getting at, 0 is 4 letters, and then we have 1, which is 3 letters. So there's no movement without 1. 1 and 2, 3 letters. No movement without 1 or 2. We also see tone. The tone is dealing with sound. Oughts to do. You know, I'm reaching a little bit. We also see that N in the W, in the center. This is almost like 2 pillars. We got the 4 and the 5, the 1 and the 2 in between that one. That's just a pattern I recognize. So I'm just kind of playing with that a little bit. So I'm thinking, okay, so 0 equals 10. So I'm having fun with this. This is early morning form and function. Oh shit, with arrows? Damn, I see. I like that one with 0 on top of the 1. Wow. And roots are dealing with truth. And talking back to the bird, you know, M and N at the center. It's the heart of the bird. Soar is also rose, which is also soar like an eagle, soar like a bird. Let's see, chemical called thorium. Oh, that's deep. I'll have to look that one up. Also makes me think of entirety. So when we get to the 3, I want to go with the wind I'm catching in my sails here. So we look at shit. Sometimes thoughts hit me fast. When we look at the 3, okay, so 3 is try. At least give it a fucking try. So it's 3, and then 6, then 9. So this could be a 6 or a 9. I'm sorry. 3, and then the 6. The 6 is on the right. Let me think about that one a little bit more. Shit, I had too many sometimes patterns are like, ooh, and it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and shit connects. So with the Alpha Omega, we could look at that A as a 1. I think a lot about sleep, and I want to get into more of that in my next one. I like the topic of dreams, and it's like 10 o'clock here. I think I gotta get going. 9:20. All right, I want to talk about more about energy too. So samskara, they say dead energy, and prana is like living energy. So dealing with that SAM, dealing with the mass. And scar is like scare. Dealing with that bad energy. Breathe out the samskara, like negative thoughts. And then adi is like adding high. So this makes me think of the triangle. And I got a split, man. We got any more comments? All right, thanks for tuning in. And I had this chance to put some stuff down. And Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Lady, whoever you are, just us dreaming. Appreciate it. If you got any more topics you want me to chime in, let me know. I've got a lot of old record albums and stuff with symbols, and I got a lot of notes, but it's just me getting the time to come down. So I'll try to do full moons, new moons, and peace out to the next one. I don't know what else to say, man. I pretty much dropped out my epiphanies for this morning. I gotta get going. I know I'm gonna remember stuff as soon as I stop this freaking thing, but something to look forward to. Where's that damn button? Peace.